Yeah, I hear it.
Hey, it's coming to you live.
It's coming to you live. It's coming. I mean, it's coming live.
Yeah,
We're still working on some kinks with audio quality. Maybe I should play the music when we go live.
yeah.
But hey,
Oh,
hey guys, it's the Vat of Acid episode of Interdimensional RSS. No, this is not the show. This is not the show. This is the show after the show where we watched Rick and Morty, and now we're thinking about it. We're talking about it. We're floating in a vat of jacuzzi temperature Mountain Dew, and just kind of letting the bones rise up to the top. As we wait for a few folks to show up, a few people to hang out with us, I suppose we could introduce ourselves. If you're
yeah.
watching this later, my name is Travis.
And I'm Brandon. I'm Brandon Cruz, and we run a little podcast called
The name's right down there. You can't miss it. Can't miss it.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, and we're hanging out. We just watched the East Coast airing of the Vat of Apathetic Enthusiasm, the Vat of Acid episode, which was kind of crazy and amazing and all over the place in a few different ways. And this is the third consecutive episode written by main writing credit by Jeff Loveness, right? Am
yep,
I getting that
yep.
name right?
Yeah. You got it right. And then a secondary writing credit to Albro Lundy, who is new. And Mike
Yeah.
McMahon had tweeted about him a little bit earlier at Broman Console, and he hasn't tweeted since March. So he's there. He's there if you want to get a hold of him.
Yeah. You catch him on the tweets. Catch him on the Twitter sphere. But yeah, I gotta say, right off the top, if you have not watched the episode, if you're on the West Coast or you didn't catch the live stream, we're gonna talk about the episode in detail. We're gonna talk about spoilers. So if you haven't watched the episode yet, you don't want us to spoil anything. Just come back. Drop a note, say hi, let us know you're here. We appreciate you stopping by. But then definitely go watch this episode. And then you can catch this later on youtube.com/apatheticenthusiasm, or come back tomorrow night, Monday. That'll be the 18th of May, where at 9 p.m. Eastern time, we will have our live recording of the full podcast, where we will have watched this episode several times and have lots more in detail to talk about. But these are sort of just our first thoughts. If you're new to the stream, if you're new to the channel, let us know you're here. Say hi. Let us know what you think. We'd love to hear the audience opinions as well. But yeah, Brandon, like right off the top, like what are your initial thoughts on the Vat of Acid episode?
We initial thoughts are I enjoyed the heck out of it. I love that it was not like a very untraditional type of story for them. And there's just a lot of good gags about the vat of acid, and appropriately titled, I should say, in the sense that it is all about the vat of acid in the beginning and at the end. So I really dug it, and I can't wait to watch it again, especially since the simulcast cut out from my internet like at the very tail end, so I missed kind of the resolution of the episode a little bit. But I got the gist of it. Good stuff.
Yeah. Did you not see so you didn't see the post credits stinger?
No, I caught the very end of the episode,
Okay.
but I missed the part Rick was talking about, like trying to be like, this is all the stuff that you did wrong, and there's scenes kind of flashing across the screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then the stream froze, and I'm like, no. And then when I came back, Rick had fixed it, right?
Oh,
So
okay. So
yeah,
the resolution as to what had happened, like, all right. Well, we'll get into that just for your thoughts, and then also just to maybe get some other thoughts from people that might be watching. But yeah, like it's basically uh, Rick decides to teach Morty a lesson by creating his uh, pause in a video game and save and restart type device. And then hands this device over to Morty, and Morty goes on a tear, a bit of uh, a bender in terms of doing anything that you might try to do if you thought you had no consequences. But then Rick explains to him that there were always consequences, and that he wasn't, in fact, going back in time because Rick doesn't believe in time travel. If Ant-Man and the Wasp can do it, then it's above him, which I thought was great considering Loveness uh, having the writing credit on this and then writing the next Ant-Man.
Yeah.
That's definitely something we can explore tomorrow. But he says that basically he was making him prestige himself by searching for another Morty that was in a very similar situation, and then killing that Morty and replacing him with his own consciousness. So Morty was in fact responsible for the death and suffering of, possibly thousands of Mortys or more, depending on how often he used this device. And Morty wanted to make up for it. And so they were going to combine all of those loose ends into one dimension, which is why everybody hated Morty at the end of it, because they were all aware of everything that he had done. And his only way out was through that vat of acid.
My heart breaks for him. What did they ever actually say what that girl's name was? That is his girlfriend.
No, they didn't. And after the episode, the new Mortys coming to Pocket Mortys, she is one of the new Mortys you can get, and she's just referenced as Morty's girlfriend.
Oh,
So no specific name. I thought that was a great story in there about and all these opportunities where you're like, all right, what's going to be the thing that makes him push the button? What's going to be the thing that makes him go back? And yeah, it's just great. The fact that it's Jerry picking it up and be like, oh, what's this? and then ending it all. Yeah, I don't know. We talked a little bit about it being unconventional. I feel like all of these episodes really, like, the story train definitely didn't have that same, story circle sort of neat format. The Promortius episode did a little bit of that, going back in time and retelling the story. So again, non-linear flow. And then this episode, it definitely didn't have the same structure that we're used to for nearly 4 seasons of the show. And I don't know, I feel like these 3 episodes just kind of create this cool little, like, glimpse into another way of telling Rick and Morty stories. And I'm curious if that's something that we're going to continue to see moving forward, or if this was just like a cool aside, and now we get back into the traditional, you know, 9-part or whatever, episodes and all of that.
yeah. I mean that's possible. I think when people have asked for the last 2 some odd years, one, why does the show take so long to be made? Why haven't they've been writing? Right, one, contract. Okay, got it. They can't actually start writing until contracting is done. Yeah. But then the idea of, like, difficulty of writing. And if anybody's ever written anything, having in a writer's room and having to, like, go back and forth and trying to one up themselves constantly. Um, I mean, this is a prime example of trying to one up themselves again. The common refrain, like, going back to Rick Minutes and then Interdimensional Cable 2, Ryan Ridley had mentioned about, like, they don't want to just go back and do the same thing, which is when they go into Mind Blowers, and then they go into the Never Rick and Morty, that type of stuff. Um, they want to come up with unique things because they don't
Right.
want to
Yeah.
just do the same things over and over again. And so I'm excited to see what other kinds of wacky hijinks they get into.
Yeah, it was I don't know. It's so, like this was very much an episode about Morty, like and even Rick seemed like a secondary character in this to a degree. Ultimately, it was all about Rick proving himself to Morty, proving to Morty that he's better than him, and proving that his vat of acid idea wasn't a bad idea, and using his uh, ability to invent pretty much anything Morty can think of to turn it around on him and force him into a situation where his only way out is the way that Rick had started in the first place. But yeah, I don't know.
Still not a good idea. And there's nothing about that says to Morty that it's a good idea. But
Can we
just
talk can we talk about the vat of acid for a second? Because from Rick, a guy who we've seen who could make like literally anything, makes portal guns, all kinds of things, like just even his fake arm in the standoff with those alien mobsters was more high tech than his vat of acid, which was just like green liquid with like an air supply with a hose, some bars to hold themselves down there, and then two doors of bones. I love how he had to scramble as things were thrown at him. It's like, oh, let's throw the rat in here, and then he's like, oh, I gotta grab a bone and whittle some rat bones out of these real quick, and then that messes up, and then all
those are
of the
like little
bone.
cartoon bones.
Yeah, it was terrific. I loved it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to watching it again, capturing some of this stuff, reaching out to folks on Twitter, all our social media to see what they thought. Sire Dark already mentioning, yes, I'm already right there with you on the Phantasm Orb. It's like the very first thing I wrote down, other than the writing credit. But yes, the Phantasm Orb, 100%. I was like, yes, yes, yes. Which, by the way, I found out. I realized this recently because I saw it on Twitter, that Captain Phasma from the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. That's a shout out to Phantasm because she's Chrome and Phasma, Phantasm. I thought that was interesting
Hmm.
because J.J. Abrams is a Phantasm fan. Who knew?
I mean,
The
somebody knew.
the Abrams podcast.
That's our next spinoff, the Abrams podcast. But yeah, I don't know. Did you have any other like? It was funny getting a glimpse into some of the things that Morty would use his reset button for. Um, but then like that whole story with his girlfriend and everything, like that alone was like a great story arc that's just compressed into what's ultimately a great gag about Jerry, screwing things up again, and sort of like the willingness for Morty, Cyberdark mentioning in the chat, like his frostbitten fingers, like like bleeding and coming apart, and he's still not willing to reset. He's
Yeah.
um yeah,
What we'll talk about it more tomorrow. A lot of these things, a lot of things I want to say,
yeah,
we should save for the actual podcast tomorrow.
that makes
Uh,
sense.
but one thing I loved is it's basically Roy, a life well lived, drawn out into half of an episode. Um, and but that's not to say that it's a bad thing. It's a really really good thing, especially when they come like it's like a cinematic quality to it. It
Yeah.
reminds me of episode 7 of Solar Opposites. So
Yes. All right.
anywho,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think again I want to watch it. I want to extract some stuff, and I think we'll come back tomorrow and we'll talk about this stuff at length.
Yeah. Overall, first like gut reaction. Even though it was different, I absolutely love this episode. I thought it was terrific, and I'm very excited to talk about it more tomorrow night. So if you're seeing this for the first time, you're new here. Don't be a stranger. Come hang out tomorrow night. That's 9 p.m. Eastern time. We will be here on Twitch and YouTube. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter at RickandMortyPod. And let us know your thoughts. Yeah, send us an email, rickandmortypodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear what you guys thought about the episode and maybe include some of those comments in the episode tomorrow night. If you're watching live, we'll take some of those comments live as well. And yeah, I guess is that where we put an end to this one, Brandon? Nice, short and sweet.
Short and sweet. 15 minutes. These are quick. These are quick little bits.
You're in and out real quick, little bits. You're literally in the vat of acid right now because of your background. You're just doing that vat of acid thing.
I know. Well, tomorrow I don't telework, so last week we stayed up till like 3 a.m.
Yeah, maybe you should go get some shut eye.
Yeah,
all right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. West Coast, enjoy the episode, and we will see you guys tomorrow night.
Yeah, bye-bye. See you later. Oh, yeah, you need to play music. Sucks.